Thank you all for coming out. It's a great day in Sikeston, Missouri. We got some cloud cover. It's cool. It's not too hot out here, so thank you all for coming out today. Very excited to be here. This is part of a 12-stop tour that we're making around the state to celebrate grant awards that we've made across the entire state of Missouri with the ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act funds. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this today because Sikeston is a little bit different than some of the other stops, and Marcy will get into that. In 2021, the state learned that we were getting $2.7 billion in ARPA funds. And we went to work at the department to try to be very aggressive and make sure that we could get as many of those funds as possible into communities and projects like the ones we're going to talk about today. That was really important to us from day one. We had support from the governor, we had support from the legislature, from the lieutenant governor. Everyone was behind that, and ultimately we were able to get $542 million for 9 new grant programs to put out around the state. That's about 20% of all the ARPA funds that the state has. So not every state invested like that at that level in economic development and community development projects. So it's a big deal in the state of Missouri to do these projects. I'm very excited today that we've obligated 92% of all those funds into these kinds of projects. So this is a big deal for us to go around the state and talk about it. But what I'm really excited to talk about is what we're doing here. So we are celebrating $9.3 million in grant funds to Sikeston, Missouri. I normally say some other stuff, but there are 7 grants that was received in Sikeston, Missouri. So I'm just going to go right into those grants and we'll get on with the program. So bear with me. You received a workforce grant in the Sikeston Public Schools for $3 million. This will allow the Career Technology Center to expand and purchase a vacant building on the loan, which is a great facility I saw it, and add the services to that Sikeston Career Technology Center. That's great. Now, an industrial site development grant to the city of Sikeston for $2.5 million to expand the wastewater capacity of the North Industrial Site. This is a big deal, part of the Unilever expansion project, and to add more opportunity for expansion at that site. That's huge for the city of Sikeston as well. In the Community Revitalization Program, there were 4 grants received in this community. The Grace Community Center received $1.1 million to build the Grace Youth Center at the corner of Compress and Petty Streets. That'll be a great project. We're blown away. The Delta Area Economic Opportunity Corporation, DAOC, I couldn't even say the whole thing, received $1.1 million in community revitalization for a community and cultural center known as Malone Park Academy of the Arts. Congratulations, Dave. The city of Sikeston received $770,000 for the expansion of Legion Park with an open-air market, portable ice skating rink, and more. So a really exciting project, right? It's right here where we are in Legion Park. So excited to see what happens. My friend Joey Pease is over there with the Seymour Food Bank. They received $350,000 to add new delivery trucks, not only in Sikeston, but around the southeast Missouri area. Congratulations. And finally, in the tourism grant program, the Sikeston Regional Chamber and Convention and Visitors Bureau received $484,000 to develop a rodeo museum and visitor center right here in downtown Sikeston. So that's exciting. This is the kind of change that's generational for the city of Sikeston, for southeast Missouri, for the state of Missouri, the kind of things we really wanted to see invested in when we started dreaming up these programs. So I am so honored to be here and announce those today for the city of Sikeston. So congratulations, Sikeston, all of you. So our next speaker I had the chance to hear this morning, and we've been touring around the state a little bit together, and he is a true champion of economic development. He understands what it means to invests in rural communities like this one and throughout the entire state. And I'm honored to introduce the 48th Lieutenant Governor of the state of Missouri, Mike Evo.
Thank you, Shane. I had to look at my calendar because I thought we were due, but it sounds like December 25th. It's Christmas coming early. Thank you so much, and it's a great pleasure to be here. So many friends that Buddy and I have made down in this area, including our elected officials. We got a whole load of elected officials here. I know Senator Holly Rader is here. She's doing a great job. Senator Jason Bean is here. Donnie Brown from Mandarin is here. Jamie Berger is here somewhere. I think John Ross is here. You guys send fantastic men and women to Jefferson City. And the reason good things happen in this area is because you're sending the right people that have common sense and understand Missouri's Christian values to represent you in the state's capital. So thank you to the elected officials for being here today. Commissioners here. I see everywhere I go in Sikeston, there's like 8 mayors that travel together. So, Mr. Mayor, it's good to see you. Former mayors, we're grateful to be here with you. But as Chad said, the variety of projects that were funded through this grant are a reflection on the people in this, right here by this gazebo in this park. The DED has a lot of competition for these projects all across the area. Not only do your elected officials tell people how important it is to the community, but the community tells us how important it is. And that's a reflection of working together, the spirit that you have here. When we talk about everything from workforce development in the school district to food banks to maybe Claudia and I's favorite as First Black People, the rodeo museum. But all points in between are very, very important for us here today. Our office also represents the tourism industry in the state. I know we've got Lynn Strump is here for tourism, and she hates my pointing her out. But the things that you're doing down here to attract visitors, to maintain businesses like we were just at Carlisle Construction, a fantastic project, that doesn't happen by accident. That happens by communities working together, Chamber of Commerce, the elected officials, the economic development authorities, DED with our new DED director, Michelle Hathaway, and her team who are here that put these grants together. All of those people working together is why we're here today. And so I just want to tell you how proud I am of this community for receiving such a large amount. We travel a few places. That's the biggest number I've heard, folks. And so that's a true reflection of who you are as a community, what you do for the region, and what you're doing for the folks who live here. So thank you so much for being here today. And God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. As he mentioned, about 2 weeks ago now, Governor Parson appointed Michelle Hathaway as the new acting director of the Department of Economic Development. I've had the pleasure of working with Michelle for a long time, and I can tell you there's no greater champion for community and economic development in this state than Michelle Hathaway. She truly understands what it takes to get the job done, and I'm very excited to see where she takes the department moving forward. So, Michelle Hathaway, Mike.
I would counter that another huge advocate for community development and economic development is Lieutenant Governor Kehoe and everything that he's done to make sure that rural areas in the state and urban areas are taken care of. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the partnership. And Lieutenant Governor, I know that what's also important to you is taking care of your team. So one thing I would like to do today is acknowledge our team that is here. So please raise your hand if you work for DED. I didn't do this at other stops, guys, so please raise your hand if you live in Southeast Missouri and you work for DED. Well, hold on, guys, all right. If you live in Southeast Missouri and you work for DED, please, I want you to know that you are represented at DED, and we fight for all of our communities, but we know how important it is for communities like Sikeston to be represented and make sure that grants like these are out and distributed to communities like Sikeston. So we're very excited for that. Another thing I want to talk about with our team is the amazing ARPA team and how hard they work to get these dollars out the door. I know Shad gave the great numbers. 92% have already been allocated. But I have to tell you, this, about 18 months ago, there was one person in the ARPA team, and that was Shadwood. And from there, he's hired 20 individuals. We have an amazing team, and these team members, these are temporary jobs that are set specifically for the ARPA programs. So they come on board knowing that these are temporary jobs, but they know that the impact that they're going to have in communities like this and the difference that they're going to make for generations to come because of the dollars that we set aside and are putting towards programs like this. So with that, our team is excited to be here today to celebrate the impact that DED's ARPA programs are having for everyday Missourians, businesses, and communities all across the state. When DED received more than $500 million in federal dollars to invest in Missouri's economy, we went right to work to make the most of this truly historic opportunity. And over the last year and a half, our federal initiatives team has worked hard to design and deploy programs that will make a meaningful impact for Missouri for years to come. We're proud to have worked together with partners like you through 9 grant programs to expand broadband, revitalize communities, establish industrial sites, support small businesses and nonprofit organizations, strengthen our workforce, and help our tourism industry recover. And through those 9, I want you guys to remember the list that Shad had. It was significant in this community. And as exciting as today's announcement is, we join you, Governor, by saying we are not done yet. Team DE will help encouraging and creating economic growth by supporting Missouri's businesses and diverse industries, strengthening our communities, developing a talent and skilled workforce, and maintaining a high quality of life. We're so grateful for the opportunity to be on location to see for ourselves how these investments are helping Missourians prosper. Thank you for joining us in that mission.
Thank you, Michelle. Our next speaker probably knows every one of you personally, and you know that you have a good senator here, but I will say I have the opportunity to work with folks in the Capitol, and I can say from the Jeff City side, she's a very good senator in Jeff City as well. So without further ado, Senator Holly Rader.
This is so cool. So being the first senator from Sikeston, when these grants were, when the press releases came out, I had a senator kind of posting me against and my response was, and her team, these grants are managed from the ground, and putting together the grant process is very difficult, and it's lengthy, and it takes putting in a lot of people, and the work that the folks did that worked on these grants is tremendous, and then to make it that notch up to where they were the ones selected is just a pretty dang thing. And so I cannot brag on them enough. And I also want to say that what we have done for Southeast Missouri, and you'll see it by the representatives and senators that are here today, is Southeast Missouri has taken some notes from Southwest Missouri. Springfield, has really boomed over the years. Southwest Missouri's really grown. And we took some notes from them a couple years ago, and we started working together as a team. And so you have myself and Senator Dean that's here, and then you have our representatives from locally, Jamie Berger. We have Dr. Brown from just south of us. We have John Ross from Cape Girardeau. And we work together as a team because the things that we do in Sikeston helps our whole Southeast Missouri. And that goes with the other communities around us. So we work as a team, and we work to push Southeast Missouri, get as much help for us as we can. So we're gonna see some incredible growth and from many of the things like this. And finally, I want to recognize the work that Governor Kehoe has done for us. He has been no stranger, and he knows Sikeston. And it's funny because when I'm with him at events in Sikeston, I'll go to tell him, to give him a little detail on somebody that we're about to meet or something, and he already knows because he's been here, he knows us, and he fights And if Representative Don Rome is still here, former Representative Don Rome, he was at the previous event with us. But Don was always quick to say, well, let's talk to him. And we would. And we still do. And he is always quick to answer the phone and help us with getting into whatever we need, getting us the help from whatever department we need, wherever we need. He gets it. He knows us. And so I just appreciate the work that he has done for us in Sikeston. So with that, I'm excited that all y'all are here to hear about these great grants. It's going to be a huge deal for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And finally, this has been mentioned a little bit. A lot of people work on these grants, but one person more than anyone has continued to rally the community forward and set that vision for what Sikeston can be. And so I'm very honored to introduce the CEO of the Sikeston Regional Chamber and Area Economic Development, Marcy Lawson.
Thank you, Chad. And thank you for all being here today. I know the weather wasn't ideal, but I appreciate you showing up for Sikeston. I'll be quick now that it's starting to rain. Okay. So I know each of our speakers have offered their thanks, but I'd like to start by thanking each of them. Without the vision of Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, the passion of Senator Rader, and the flexibility within the Department of Economic Development, none of this would be possible. So thank you. When Shad first approached me about being a part of their Helping Missourians Prosper tour, he suggested focusing on the Sikeston Visitor Center and Rodeo Museum, which, don't get me wrong, was my pet project, so I would have been okay with that. However, we have way too much to celebrate today in Sikeston to talk about this one project. So just like in the many conversations with those at Missouri DED throughout this process, Shad listened. He then allowed for adjustments to better fit our town's needs. That's why these funds are going to have such a major impact on communities across the state, because the decision makers listen to those of us with boots on the ground. So again, thank you. As you know, Sikeston was awarded $9.3 million to fund 7 separate projects. I could talk extensively about each because they're all amazing, but now not only is it hot, it's also raining, so I won't do that to you. Instead, I'll share with you the Sikeston I got to see while working behind the scenes on many of these applications and why these grants are only a part of the high tide we are riding in our community right now. To do that, I'm going to steal a saying from Mayor Turnbow, but as an Alabama alum and Michelle is my Alabama alum as well, it's just too fitting. I feel like I'm coaching a team put together by Bear Bryant. I've been in this new position right at a year now, but having worked for the Chamber 5 years before that, I can honestly say I'm not at all surprised to be here today. The vision of community leaders like former Mayor Stephen Birch, my predecessor Mike Marshall, city leaders like Jonathan Douglas and Rick Landers, along with business leaders like now I see new leaders stepping out, ready to do their part to make our community better. It's been fun, but let me tell you, these projects did not come together overnight. No one was given this money. Over the past year, I've been fortunate enough to work with Mayor Turnbow, Shannon Hollifield, Jay Lancaster, Matt Drake, my incredible team, Kathy Medley, Katie Meredith, and Taylor Deere, and so many others on these projects. We met often, very often, maybe too often, to tweak each project or application to make it as competitive as possible. It wasn't easy, but it was the willingness of everyone to put in the work, regardless of who got the credit, that has me standing here in front of you, celebrating $9.3 million from the job community. I've fallen in love with Sikeston all over again. through this process. It's opened my eyes to what I now see as our biggest strength, our collaboration. We can obviously do great things when we're all working together. We can bring in new industry, we can build new schools, we can do exactly what Missouri DED wanted us to do with this funding. We can transform our community with 7 new awesome projects that will improve our workforce, revitalize our community, add a tourism asset, and improve our industrial park. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much, Marcy, and thank you all. And I know you're starting to get wet, but Senator Bean and the other farmers here, let it happen. Don't pray it away or anything. What an incredible day for Sikeston. $9.3 million in new grant projects. That is just so incredible. We should give all the recipients one more round of applause. All right, and with that, we are finished. I will let you guys escape the rain. We do want to get some pictures with the folks on the stage here, and then anyone else who might want for a picture. I'll let you handle it.
Yeah, if I could have at least one person from each project representative come up here, and we'll just do a quick picture, that'd be great.